Hello, everybody. It's your girl Keisha, the credit lady, whatever you wanna, know me as. Today, we are going to be talking about bankruptcy, how to remove bankruptcies. Question I get asked so much, and I'm going to give you a few simple steps to be on the right path of boosting your credit scores and doing it fast. So today, bankruptcy and some steps that you could take all yourself to boost your credit scores, okay? So I'm going to answer a question that I get asked all the time, and you're definitely free to ask me any questions. You can put it in the comment section. You can email me at thecreditlady100@gmail.com, or you can put it in the comments like I said. But the question I get asked all the time is, how do I remove bankruptcies, okay? So bankruptcy is removable prior to discharge dates, prior to the 7 or 10 years in which, the law states. It is something that's removable because the number one thing with anything that's reported on credit is it must be accurate, verifiable information. So think about it. When we talk about bankruptcy, that's something that is very personal, So you go to the courts, or you go to an attorney first, and then they go through the courts, and then they file all these papers, and then they notify your people you owe money to, collection agencies, and so forth and so on. And then from there, your bankruptcy gets filed in the courts. The debt's either wiped away or you put on a payment plan. That's very personal. Okay, even though it still is something that is public record, but you can't just walk into the courthouse and get somebody's bankruptcy records. Okay, so this is what you do. Okay, the first step number 1, is to send a letter to the courthouse for your municipality. So here in where I'm from, it's like the Northern District of something. Look it up, Google it, and you're gonna send them a basic letter, and it's gonna say something to the point of, don't give any personal information either. You're gonna write a nice letter, type it up, put your name, and put your address. You don't have to though, but put your name on it, and you just ask a general question. Hi, my name is such and such, and I am writing to ask. Let me get the letter for you. Hold on one second, and I'm gonna read one off to you. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm gonna read you this letter. The letter states, to whom it may concern, my name is, fill in your name, and I'm inquiring to know the procedure in which the courts release information to third-party agencies such as LexisNexis and the 3 major credit bureaus. Besides the procedure in which you may or may not release information, please can you tell me in detail and in writing on court letterhead if the courts confirm and or verify personal identifiable information with third parties such as LexisNexis or the credit bureaus, and if so, how? I have enclosed a self-addressed envelope for your reply and for your convenience. Thank you. Okay, so this is the first step because, as I said it before, it has to be verifiable, okay? And TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are not verifying this information, period. They're using a third party, LexisNexis, which is a major credit bureau that a lot of people don't know about. They house, so much information. My first report with LexisNexis was this thick. It was a big old envelope, and they had driver's license records in it, cars. It told me every car I ever owned. It told me every address that I ever lived at. I mean, it's a lot of information in those reports. So we'll talk about that. But they verify this information with a third party, which is LexisNexis. Okay? So what you do by getting this letter is shutting down that first lie. Okay? If this is initiated by the courts, then the law states that it must be verified by the furnisher of the information, which is the courts, technically, okay? So what you do is you write this letter, you send it off. What I do is, and I don't know why I do this, but I just do it this way, and I've always been doing it this way. What I do is I write this letter, and then inside the letter, I enclose a self-addressed envelope with postage so that they can just send me this letter right back, and they're going to tell you, we don't verify any information. That's what they're going to tell you. Now, if you put too much information in there, you actually file bankruptcy, of course. They're going to recognize who you are, and they're going to write you a letter back with all your information. They're going to put your bankruptcy number and all that. Don't do that. You want to be as vague as possible. Give them your name, give them your return address, and hopefully they'll send you back a really, really vague letter. Okay? Generally, 9 out of 10 they will, because it's already a pre-made letter. They just fill in the blanks and sign it and ship it off to you. Okay? So that's the first step. So you send that off, you wait for their return. Then what you do in the process of doing that is you send off your first letter to the credit bureaus. Your letter to the credit bureaus is going to be real vague too. There's a couple of different tactics. You can do I believe it's called a 623 letter, where you kind of make a lot of demands and you incorporate a lot of laws and things like that. But, as you begin to dispute, you want to sound like a real person, okay? You don't want to do too much the first time around. It's like with a kid. If I tell you once, okay. Then I tell you again, I'm maybe a little irritated, Then if I tell you a third time, I'm probably going to yell, because I done told you 3 times to get your butt up and get that room cleaned up, okay? It's like that. So you got to progress into it. You don't just jump off into it and do the most. So you send them a nice letter, and you're really nice, to the credit bureaus. And I'm going to read one for you. It's just a little example, one that I send off for my clients all the time. Dear TransUnion, I hope you're having a great day today. I need a little bit of help from you. I noticed that there's some issues with an account on my credit report. Then you list the account, which would say bankruptcy, and put your bankruptcy number. And then you say something like, I did some reading on the internet and about credit reporting laws. And from what I was reading, it said that if I felt like something was an error on my credit report, that I have the right to request that it be fixed. And then you say something like, I got this information off some really big site that's like, regulated, like the FTC or the CFPB, or you can even say this Attorney General. Okay, I got this information off the Attorney General website. The information on my credit report is causing a lot of problems when I try to apply for new credit. I would appreciate it if you investigate this matter and get back to me immediately. But I hope you have a great day. Something real simple like that, That's called a dispute letter. Okay, so you have to give them a reason. When you say, I noticed that there's a following issue on my credit report, you have to then put your account numbers somewhere in this letter, and then you have to give a reason, because that is technically how you properly dispute. You never want to dispute vaguely, okay? Vaguely disputing can work for you, but, it don't hold up well. So you always want to be particular. And I'm going to tell you what you can look for in a second. But you pick a reason, and then you put that reason there, okay? And you send that letter off at the same time that you send off that letter to the courts. Because what's going to happen is one of two things. Either they're going to respond back, the credit bureaus, I'm talking about TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, and they'll say something like, okay, we removed it, which would be great, because first time it does happen. Don't be surprised. Or they could say something like, we verified the account and it's yours. Stuff that don't nobody never want to hear, but trust me, you'll get used to it, okay? This process, you got to be diligent and patient. Never give up. Remember that. Be diligent, patient, and don't ever give up, period. Okay, so they'll do one of those two things. So let's just say they send you a letter back that says that it's verified. What you're going to do next is, you're going to get that letter they send you. Usually they're going to say, we verified it with LexisNexis. If you read it, it usually always says that. And then you're going to take your next dispute letter And now you're going to send that dispute letter to LexisNexis, okay? So by the time you get their letter back from TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, whoever you sent it to, by the time you get that back, you'll be ready to then write LexisNexis. And you'll say something real vague with them too, like, I disputed an account with TransUnion, and they said you verified it. So at this point, you, by law, can verify with the actual furnisher of the information. Because technically, LexisNexis, sorry about that. Technically, LexisNexis is the furnisher of that information. So now you have the right to go to LexisNexis and dispute with them too. And you're going to say something the same. I disputed this account with TransUnion, and they said you verified it, and I'm demanding validation of this account because of whatever the reason is. Okay? Well, I'm not going to tell you what to say, but, whatever you say, remember this. They have to prove it. The burden of proof is on them. It's not really on you. It's really on them. So, it's all about how you word it, tactics, and things like that. So, when you send them the dispute letter to LexisNexis, you'll say that same reason, and you tell them you want to validate the account, okay? I want to validate it right now because you don't know what I did. So how are you telling me what I did with your nosy self all of my business? But anyway, after that, they're going to send you another letter back. And hopefully they remove it. But if they don't, you get their letter. And then your next response is going to include that letter you got from the court. Okay? And then you're going to use that letter from the court back at LexisNexis. And you're going to fight LexisNexis. You get it removed from LexisNexis first, then you have a better chance of getting it removed with the other credit bureaus. So, start with LexisNexis with bankruptcies. And generally, that is going to be the best bet. And once you get it removed there, you can then go back to the credit bureaus and dispute it again with them. And you're going to use that letter from LexisNexis. They removed it. Now you got to remove it because you said they verified it. And they are now telling me it's removed and gone. So who do you have, TransUnion, to verify it? Because you ain't verifying it. That's what you do. So moving on. Now I'm going to tell you a few steps that you could take in conjunction with working on your bankruptcies. You got some collections, charge-offs, late payments on your accounts. You're just getting back into working on your credit. We all have to, at some point we grow up and we just, decide to get serious about it. So now you're getting serious about it, okay? So, you're serious about it. First step you need to do is look at your credit reports. I mean, all of them, not just Credit Karma. Credit Karma's, no. What I suggest is you go to my FICO, you invest that $40. Trust me, you won't miss it, okay? You get a full 3-bureau credit report because FICO scores are what matter, okay? Not the free ones. Anyone you can about get for free is probably not a FICO score, and you probably it's not going to be correct or the most accurate. So go to my FICO or wherever you can get your 3-bureau FICO report and scores, okay? And what you're going to do is look at it. Step number 1. Look at them across all 3. Once again, the law states that everything must be accurate. So, what most people don't know is when they look at their credit reports, the information looks a little different on TransUnion, looks a little different on Equifax, and the date might be a little different on Experian. All that should be matching, okay? If you get a highlighter and you can cross things across the line that are different, bam, grounds for dispute. We're not disputing the accuracy of whether you actually went and got that account, maxed it up, looked good on the weekend with your girlfriends or with your guys, and had you a good old time and did pay the bill. We ain't disputing that. It's none of my business, period. We're disputing the accuracy of the account. We're using the loopholes to get your credit together, okay? So once you find those accounts, you highlight them, go through your report, and that's what you dispute on. This is called accurately disputing, or pretty much factual disputing. That's what it's called. You want to factually dispute in the beginning. And I'm not saying lie, but that's just how you do it. Factual dispute. So from there, you write your letters, and then you'll be surprised how many things are deleted just by doing one good round of dispute. Same way at first. Hi, how you doing? I found this account. It looks inaccurate. Give them a reason. And I noticed that I have the right to dispute these accounts. I was on the FTC website. So I feel that there needs to be an investigation. And I'm asking you to do an investigation and get back to me soon. Okay? Now, first thing I do want to tell you about this is they have 30 days to respond. You get 5 days or so for mail time. If you want to, send it certified mail, that would be great. Because you can then track your letters. And this is another way to utilize laws on your behalf to get your credit cleaned up, because they have 30 days to respond. So if you send a certified mail, which like I said is a little bit extra, but what happens is you send it certified, you see exactly when they get it, the clock starts ticking then. So if you got my letter on the 1st, you got 30 days. And what you're going to do is you're going to wait 30 days, you're going to refresh your credit report, and guess what? It should be some updates on there. They don't always respond though. They really suck. But it should be some updates on there. They should send you a letter in the mail letting you know. So that's the first thing though. We'll talk about catching them up and how to go hard on the creditors a little bit later. But back to my point. You dispute anything that's inaccurate. That's one way, okay? The next thing you do is once you dispute those things with the credit bureaus, like I said, the first try, you might get 2, 3, 4 things off real fast and easy. You don't really have to do no work. So what about the accounts that come back and they say, verified? Okay. Second thing you do, number 2, is you now dispute with the creditors. Creditors, collection agencies. I really like to dispute directly with creditors and collection agencies because you furnish this information. Okay, so you're going to be more responsible for fixing what you sent them. So once you do it with the credit bureaus, now you're going to do it with the actual collectors, your bill collectors, your creditors, those folks. And you're going to do the same thing, okay? Sometimes when you write them a nice little letter, and I'm a little meaner with collection agencies because, hey, one collection could take 50 points off your credit. 50. You can go from good to bad real fast, okay? So it's really important. You send them a letter, and that letter's going to be a lot meaner. I noticed that you got this account on my credit report. Give them a reason based off factual disputing off your credit reports, okay? And you say, whatever that reason is, I demand that you validate this account right now. The burden of proof is on them. It's not on you. Validate it. A lot of times they won't be able to validate it. Or sometimes they'll send you a little generic letter. And a lot of times things will just come off that way. So that's option number 2. You'll clean credit up. Things will come off. Score go up. Period. Another way, option number 3 to boost your credit score. Now you did a little disputing. You might do that for a couple of rounds, which is like a couple of months, 2, 3, 4 months. However diligent you are to fight these accounts, you do it because it's only going to benefit you, you know? But after that, you then look at your accounts and one thing I must add. When you contact these creditors in letters, don't ever admit to the debt. Don't ever. Don't say, oh, yeah, I had that account. Oh, yeah, I meant to pay you. Ooh. I'm just calling you because this is on my credit report, or I'm writing you because this is on my credit report. I'm not going to say, yeah, I had it. Yeah, it was mine. Yeah, I did it. Nope. No. Don't do it. Did you see me? Is it on camera? Oh, you got my point. Anyway. So, forgot what I was saying. Jesus. Sorry. Anyway, back to what I was saying. When you look at your credit reports, and hey, now it's time for us to really grow up and put our big boy and big girl panties on. Because, you know, between you and me, now you're looking at your credit report, you can get all that stuff, and now you done got some of the stuff removed, and some of the stuff you can't get off. Now, hey, I do understand this. Times are hard. So for some, this will be feasible. For some, it won't. But I do want to make sure I highlight that this is an important step in the process. And you know what that is? Sometimes you got to pay your bills. Yeah, no. Yeah, you got to pay them. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to have to pay your bills. You're going to contact them up, the ones that's feasible. It's feasible. Oh, this bill $200. $200, $100, $1,000, whatever it might be, whatever's feasible for you. You're going to contact them and you're going to request a pay for deletion. Pay for deletion. Meaning I pay, you delete. Okay? Talk to them. You work that out. Sometimes they'll give you a letter stating, okay, we agree to this. Sometimes they won't. But most of the times, if they agree to do it, they'll do it. And then if they don't, then you know, you got to go other places to really get up under their skin because they didn't do what they said. But most times, they'll just do it. Okay? So, pay for deletion. Now, what if you can't afford to pay it? Okay? I'm going to tell you something else. Okay, so what if you can't afford to pay it in full and, you know, you probably can't get the pay for deletion? Because 9 times out of 10, most creditors, I'm not going to say all, but most of the ones I've run into, they want you to pay it in full or they ain't going to give you no deletion. Yeah, that's how they act. That's why I be trying to get them off because I want the ball to be in my court all the time. But whatever. This will also help you because the reality is any major move that you want to make in your lifetime, majority of the time, for example, in buying a home, you could get your credit scores up really, really good. But you got that one collection on there with a balance still. 9 times out of 10, the mortgage company or the whoever you're going through to get your loans going to tell you, you need to get that balance to 0. So I'm not one of those people that's going to encourage people to not pay their debts ever. I mean, if I can get it off for you and removed, then, or if you can get it off and get it removed, then, you know, so be it. But when it's standing in the way of you doing what you need to do, oh, you got to do what you need to do. And sometimes you got to pay that bill. So if you can't afford the full balance, then you can settle. You can settle. You won't get as much points as you would for deletion, but you are going to benefit from paying your bills. So anybody that tells you never pay collections or charge-offs, they mean don't immediately pay collections and charge-offs. But sometimes you got to pay collections and charge-offs, okay? So that's that. Then, moving on. Now that you've did a couple of rounds of disputing with the creditors, the credit bureaus, you've paid off some bills. Once you get to that step, you worked your credit scores up good. Oh, now we come to your credit card that got the balance $1,000 on it that you only pay the minimum balance on. Let me tell you something. Credit is based off of 5 factors. And one of the most important ones is debt. How much debt do you have? So if you have credit cards with high balances, baby, you pay them credit card balances and your score's gonna shoot through the moon. Okay? So that's it. That's what you do. Dispute. You might have to pay some bills. You might have to. And then you pay some balances off. Okay? And then that leads me to my last one. And I really, really feel some kind of way about this topic because everybody thinks that, you know, you get a trade line and boop, that's it. Maybe back in the day, you could get a trade line and see your scores rise and you can go straight to the car dealership and you're going to get the best interest rates, you're going to get the best approval, all that. They don't do that no more. Now, trade lines are great for points, you could definitely get some points for a trade line. But the minute that you go trying to just use trade lines to get credit, you are going to get stopped. Well, we know you just an authorized user. Where's your credit? And then you looking like, well, see what had happened was, right, because you ain't got none. You need to have your own credit. So, alternative to trade lines is building your own positive credit. I can never stress this enough to my clients that even though I'm helping you with building your scores up and disputing items for you, if you don't build any positive credit history for yourself, you are still going to be, you're never going to plateau. You always are going to hit a roadblock on your credit scores. You're going to stay in them low 600s. You ain't never going to get to them 700s. You know what I'm saying? Your scores might be halfway decent, but you need your own credit, okay? So then you go and you get, it's so many different accounts, and I'll put some information in the comment section below so that you guys can see where you can go to get your own credit. But there's places like Self.com. Self is really great. There's Fingerhut. You know, any type of account. There's Capital One. There's different accounts that you can set up that will help you boost your credit, okay? There's even the rent reporters. That's a really good one. A lot of times they'll only report to one bureau, but it's still a really good account because it'll give you credit history for up to 2 years, I believe. So instantly, in like a month, 2 weeks, you can get, if you pay your rent on time, you can get 2 years of on-time payment credit history, which is 35% of your FICO score is payment history, because everybody that loans you money or gives you credit wants to know, are you capable and responsible enough to pay back what you owe? So you must get payment history. It must be your own payment history, okay? So this goes to all types. This information will apply to all types of accounts. You can dispute not only collections and charge-offs with letters and things, you can dispute late payments as well with letters. This for the same way you would dispute a regular account. If there's inconsistencies in the payment history, prove it. Prove I was late, because you said to this same company is reporting you late with Equifax and TransUnion, but Experian all of a sudden this month has no records. Prove it. You must use the information that you have and make it work for you, okay? So I hope this video was helpful to someone. If you have questions, like I said, leave them in the comment section, or you can email me at thecreditlady100@gmail.com, and you can do all this yourself, okay? If you are diligent about it, you can do it yourself, save yourself some time and money. But if you don't have the time and you just don't want to do it yourself, you can hire me. I can do it for you. Just give me a call, or for those of you that know me personally, give me a call. Or you can always email me, like I said, thecreditlady100@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to do it for you. So I hope this video finds you all in a great headspace for you to go and tackle your credit. So today I gave you all the tea on bankruptcies, and I gave you 5 ways to jumpstart your credit repair process. I hope this helps you all, and thank you so much for joining and watching. Until next time, I will be giving you all the tea.